we're going to go straight over to the Science Minister, Tory MP for Mid-Norfolk, George Freeman. Good afternoon, George. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Kevin. Great to join you.
Now, what we want to talk about here is rather good news. Good to report some good news for once. When we left the EU in 2020, effectively, we were sort of kicked out of the Horizons Science project, whereby the EU has a big fund that all nations can use to develop very cutting-edge science projects. Anyway, we're back in it. How did that happen, and what does it mean for Britain?
Yeah, thanks. This is a really, really big day for UK science research, technology and innovation. You're right. We, in the Brexit deal, the Trade Continuity Agreement, the TCA, we specifically negotiated to be in Horizon, which is now the world's biggest R&D club network. It's just short of 100 billion, and the other research programs. And the EU signed that off and agreed it with us. They then blocked it because of difficulties over the Northern Ireland Protocol. I mean, you could argue that that was outside of the powers, but I mean, it was just politics. And the Prime Minister, when he sorted out the Northern Ireland Protocol this spring, opened up the opportunity for us to get back in to that European Horizon programme. And we've negotiated actually an improved deal, which is really good news. Headlines, we've missed 2.5 years of a 7-year programme. So we've agreed we're not going to pay for those 2.5 years. And actually we'll pay from January next year. And the underspend will reallocate in the UK. It's open from today. So across the country, academics, businesses, small companies can all apply to be part of this programme. And the really good news is we get back traditionally about 80-90% of what we put in directly flows back to the UK, but with bells and whistles added because it's a collaborative programme. So it's a great day for UK research, and I've been talking to research leaders in industry, business and universities today, and they're absolutely delighted, as am I. It's taken a lot of work, and it's a tribute really to the Prime Minister's commitment to strong international engagement. We're not joining the European Union. We're not going back in.
Don't say that.
We're not joining the European Political and Monetary Union, but we are active. We want to be active members of these networks, and this is a big one.
Yeah, we left the EU, we didn't leave Europe. There's an £81 billion fund of 95 billion euros that we will now have access to. Any particular projects, George, that will benefit from this?
Yeah, so it's structured in 3 pillars. The first is fellowships. So around our leading universities, we have disproportionate number of top professors in the UK. I mean, if I tell you that we have 2 of the world's top 3 universities, we have 4 of Europe's top 10 universities. We are disproportionately well represented. So there are professors, lecturers all around the UK today who can breathe easy that their positions here are secure. And then there's pillar 2 is industry. Rolls-Royce, British Aerospace, a lot of our big industrial companies are open and do lots of projects through this because it's very easy. You pick up the phone through Horizon and you can get researchers from 5 or 6 universities together. Same terms, it's all agreed. So big win from industry. And we've had a big message today from Rolls-Royce and other big industrial companies here. This is hugely important for them. And then pillar 3 is innovation, the smaller companies. And that's more of the startups, the spin-outs, the high-growth companies in different sectors. And if you go to Glasgow, Edinburgh, Cambridge, Oxford, London, Warwick, the South Coast, huge excitement. So it works for small companies, big companies, and world-class academics.
Well, good news. Excellent to report some good news, but you're in politics, so we must, of course, now turn to some bad news. Can I ask you, as a member of the Cabinet, the government must be worried about security at prisons right now after this breakout, extraordinary, audacious escape by this terrorist subject, Daniel Khalife. He's still at large, now 24 hours before after the story broke. He actually broke out at just before 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Massive searches on, very alarming. Police saying don't approach him, 999. But questions have to be asked, don't they, George, about security, particularly at Wandsworth Jail. How did this happen?
Yeah, it's a really serious incident. And let me just say, first of all, as you would expect, all agencies across the whole of government, above and below the line, are working on this now, flat out. And that's a pretty formidable operation, which I obviously can't discuss. But Alex Chalk has come out already today to say, yes, there are questions that need to be asked without distracting from the immediate security operation of finding and recapturing this prisoner. There are important questions to be asked, which are being asked as well, and you'd expect that. This is pretty serious, and we want to make sure that we can reassure the public that everybody involved in security in the UK is active on this, and the lessons are going to be learnt, and we'll make sure this doesn't happen again.
OK, last question, George. Are you concerned, or is the government concerned about staffing levels at prisons? Because we understand that at Wandsworth, only 70% of the ideal number of prison officers are actually in situ working there. So they're 30% short of where they should be staff-wise. This must be a deep source of concern.
Well, look, I'm not in the Justice Department. I'm not in the Home Office.
I'm aware of that, yes.
I'm Science Minister, so I don't want to stray beyond my brief, and I'm not briefed on the details of staffing levels at that prison. But those will be some of the questions that I know Alex Chalk is already asking. But I would say, given I have a constituency interest, I have a prison, albeit a Category C prison. The truth is that our prisons work on the basis of a degree of managed consent, really excellent prison staff, and the vast majority of prisoners understand how the system must work. And what we've had here is a very, very serious incident of somebody very, very determined and what looks like quite a sophisticated operation. So lessons and questions to be asked, yes, but the main message is every arm of the UK security system is working on it, and people need to be reassured by that.
George, very good to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. That was Science Minister and Conservative MP for Mid Norfolk, George Freeman.